Okay, hello everyone. My name is Minoru Yanai, at Innovation, Tokyo-based ad agency, tracking solution provider, and also we do a bit of publishing. Okay, I'm talking about the two things: overview of smartphone market in Japan. I think a lot of people know the Japanese market is pretty huge at the moment, and also I'm going to explain a bit of tips how to produce for Japanese market. Of us. We founded in 2010 in Japan, and most of people is from Tokyo area, and we raised 1.6 million US dollars. So it's still a small company, but we're trying to be bigger. Okay, so myself, I used to work and I cut these parts. Okay, now I'm explaining about smartphone market in Japan. First step, this is the size of penetration user of smartphones. I think most of people think the Japanese is pretty advanced, but in fact, only 54% of smartphone users. That means pretty close to $70 million. So 70 should be this year, and still a lot of people not using smartphone. This is a tablet. Tablet is mainly people use for business. So only 20 million users using in Japan. So if you optimize about your games for Japanese market, you have to consider small smartphone, not tablet. So this is just a bit hard to see, but iOS 46%, Android is 50%. But this year, next year, iOS will be a lot bigger than Android. There is two reasons. One, I think the user tends to like iPhone. So I think everyone. And iPhone is cheaper than Android. For example, I've got the Android as personally, but the iPhone is cheaper than, Android is more expensive than iPhone in Japan because Japanese carrier only provide high-end Android, and with Apple deal, Japanese carrier has to sell a lot of iPhones. So that is a fact. So this is the age of penetration. So 20s and kids to like about 20th. So it's a lot of users already use the smartphones, but for monetization and get the great users to spend money, like it's 30s and the early 40s age. This is a really great age for monetization. So if you have gaming, so this 30 and early 40s, it's really important for Japanese market. We have like more than 15 years of experience of spending money from the mobile contents. I've been working for this industry for more than 12 years. So since 2002, so even before smartphone, Japanese mobile market was more than 5 billion US dollars. So it's before smartphone, $5 billion. So actually, Japanese market is really, really huge even before. So this is summary: 60 million smartphone users, 20 million tablet users, and 80%, 70% is age 20 and 30. 10th and 20th. This is the last year's market size of smartphone gaming. So actually, this is pretty big. Last year, it was over 6 billion, and expected 7 and 8 is growing really quickly, but it's getting a bit slower than before. So this is the 2014 figure. Is actually browser game, such as a mobile game or Agree. They're still pretty going well. But of course, slowing down, but still browser gaming is pretty big in Japan. But of course, smartphone on native apps is growing quickly. And this is an other example. You see the consumer games like Xbox, Sony, and other things, it's going down. And portable consumer games like a PSP, Nintendo DS, growing down. Arcade, PC Online. But smartphone is so growing quickly, and it's only 22 million users in Japan, but they're making so much money from the gaming play. So these are the summaries. 6 billion, so native apps is 4.2 billion. So I think you've seen this kind of figures from Apani. At the same time, I wanted to explain again that this is the market size of Japanese gaming for smartphone. These are the figures what kind of time is people actually playing games. So prime time for game users is to start 8 o'clock and till 1 o'clock. But after 1 o'clock, it's going down. But in lunchtime, I think it's general things. It's people start to play again. So if you want to campaign your apps, so focusing nighttime, it could be a good idea. This is a bit so many things. This puzzle RPG, and the simulation kind of games, there is a really popular. But the reason why is that those kind of gaming is popular is big games such as Puzzle and Dragon, Monster Strike. Those games is really they have huge MAU based, so that's why it tends to be bigger figures. But doesn't mean it's like an RPG or other casual game is small in Japan. So this is the ARPPU basic idea. So actually, this around $20 is ARPPU in Japan. So I think it's most of Japanese users spending more than other countries. So this is actually it's the 4.2% of users spending more than $100 per month. So as a summary, between 8 p.m., 1 a.m., and 12 noon is a good time for pushing your app. And the average spending games per month is around $21. Best age is 30s, as I explained. Now I explained about tips of how to produce your game in Japanese market. So I'm not a producer myself. I do a bit of a publishing business, but I'd like to explain the basic idea which you should consider about Japanese market. This is a gross ranking in merch or top 10. See, the US and UK is so similar, like a Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, those kind of games. But in Japan, it's, between those three countries, only one game, Clash of Clans, is the same. Other games is totally different. As the next page, I show you that Taiwan, China, and Japan. So many people think it's Asia, but unfortunately, there is no such thing. Asia is all different countries. Taiwan, China, and Japan is the example. It's only a few games is same ranking on top 10. Line is not actually, it's not really a game, it's a platform, chat application. So Clash of Clans, and there is no Clash of Clans in China. So you can't really think it's one Asian big region. Even East Asia is totally different ranking. So European countries similar to each other, but Japan, Taiwan, China is totally different. So monetizing different, taste of characters different, game system is different. So this is the biggest 20 MAU apps in Japan. So in March this year. So it's the example many line games, and also some Japanese local casual games. And there's only 4 apps from overseas here. This right-hand side is Japanese games, and right-hand side is overseas. It's when you look at those characters or icons, it's many Japanese games tends to be cute, really important cuteness. So, for example, the left-hand side, second one, is some really cute cat character. That is a casual game, but it's booming a lot. And on this top 20 MAU games, 16 of them is use a TV ad, in fact. So it's lots of people is struggling to promote their app. Even some app called Q, that is kind of casual games, but they're doing a TV ad to acquire the users. So this is other example, Japanese or Western. So for example, Dragon City, it looks pretty kind of cute, but can you see that Dragon City is really 3D character? But on right-hand side, everything, like Logless, White Shironeko, and Monster Strike, they use the 3D characters, but they use the 2D effect or kind of brushing. So they built in 3D, but they changed kind of manga, cartoonish kind of taste. So this is the games, Brave Frontier, I think everyone knows, and Castle and Dragon, other new games which is booming in Japan. The left-hand side is the Empire for Kingdom. It's real lifestyle of the character. It's so different. It's the Empire and the Castle and Dragon is kind of similar simulation games, Berlin games, but those really cartoonish manga-style characters. So when you consider about the localizing or culturalizing from west to Europe, west to east, like I'm talking about Japanese, you have to change your characters. Game systems also you have to consider how it goes. So first of all, change the icon for suitable for Japanese market, and then you should consider about the character itself inside of games, and the colors and the taste. So you have to consider really deeply. So other things I want to explain, game system between Japan and Europe is it's a bit rough to explain, but in Japanese games tends to be pay to win games, and the European games play to win. So this is a basic gaming system. So first, of course, install the game apps, and then start doing quest and limitations happens in the game, and get reward, the coins or items, all different things, and then moves to the expand more quest or new stages. But the monetizing point is the Unity persons mentioned gacha. That is so many developers and publishers use the gacha system to monetize. So limitation and how to beat the monsters or enemies, and then people start to use gacha. That is a really rough basic idea. And in between the game reward and the expanded more quest, and of course you can play the PvP mode, the GVG, a raid battle, and special stage, and other story. So this is just kind of routine many Japanese games use. This is a kind of rotation, called quest, event, get reward, and extra example money. And the first stage, early stage, user can get a free gacha, no paid gacha first. And then they learned what they can get after spending money. And they understand what as an achievement through the tutorial or early stages. And they get card, and the quest goes to quest. And then after for a while, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours playing, and then they first not able to win this game. Then they actually knew already, because for early stage is the production gives you the what you can get through the gacha, and then they start to spending money on the gacha and get more better cards. I'm sorry. So breakdown important facts is a gacha system. User motivated with good design hero, because Japanese people really like the collection since like 60s, 50s. For example, myself, I'm collecting still vinyl records. I have 5,000 records at home still. So Japanese people really like the collection. They love cards. They love small things. They like puppet, and they collect a lot of things. And need to pay the gacha to go to higher stage. So early stage, you make user to understand what gacha is or what you can get through gacha. And then after for a while, when users struck, they start to pay money. And one hero and the other hero is a kind of system, and combined, it's the stronger heroes. And the users start to motivate, collect heroes. As I explained, the collection is so important. And then user understand when they need to win, then use the pay money. So why Japanese user pay money more than other? I explain a little bit about this. Okay, career educated users to pay money since 2000, which is called I mode. So we have more than 15 years of mobile content history, which is a carrier called NTT Docomo educated users. And carrier billing for Google Play is many countries supported Google Play carrier billing, but quite a long time ago since Google Play started, Japanese market supported carrier billing. So almost 100% user postpaid in Japan. It's example is if you want to buy SIM card at carrier, it's sometimes hard to get. There is no vending machine for SIM card, or you can really go to shops at the airport and get SIM card. So you have to go there and rent out the phone, or actually have to sign up as a postpaid. And really easy to get the store physical card at convenience store. There are so many convenience stores like a Taiwan, Taipei. So if kids doesn't have the, kids are not able to pay a lot of money through the carrier billing or credit cards they don't have, then they go to 7-Eleven or other convenience stores buy the physical card. Physical card is everywhere. And I explained a long history of a social game since 2010, which is a mobile game and Grid. Those top players is produced to educate people, and they educated how to win the games and how to have fun through the social game. And then other things, many Japanese publishers focusing Japanese market. There is already pretty big market, and really Japanese market is Japanese. So this is some target. Actually, myself, I target these kind of numbers. So paid conversion rate is trying to get the 2.5% to 3.5. It's a bit hard, but we try. And the DARPPU, 100 yen, which is like $83. ARPPU is about $33. And the average DAU, 20 or plus. And if you achieve this kind of numbers constantly with your game, you should be able to get about $300,000 per month. And once you achieve these kind of numbers constantly, and then you can go for further and higher. So what I want to say is think global and produce like locals. That is a so important message for winning in Japanese market. That's about my presentation. Contact me anytime, and I'll be there outside. Or, of course, you can ask me a question.
Hi. So you said the Japanese market focuses on pay to win.
Yeah.
But how does that work in multiplayer games? Because in Western, especially in Europe, people don't like multiplayer games where they have to pay to win because they feel abused. So how does that work in Japan?
Okay, it's not general things. My idea, excuse me. So if, for example, GVG game, group versus group, and people in Japan start to help each other. For the multiplayer games, it's like helping each other pretty important. So once you get like 10 friends online, and some guy is ask you to play a game together, and they start to think about it, following you those friends and playing together. Then one guy is spending money, and the other friend is spend again. So that is the kind of it's motivation. So many Western games are like beating each other, but Japanese MMOs tend to be kind of helping each other to win. That is a bit basic, kind of subconscious kind of things. This is not actually is no fact. But this is what I think.
I'm pretty impressed with in the way you put lots of ninja. So it makes me thought about let's say in Western people usually use zombies as the common. The way they put it as a brand. For Japan, most people try to put
Ninja?
The ninja and something like that. So I just have some thoughts on.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the users in Japan, they basically just love the content from Japan, which is not open to other contents, something like that?
Oh yes, okay. Japanese people, of course, likes Marvel, the film and comic, but the Japanese comic and animation industries has more than 50 years of history. So, for example, one of the biggest weekly comic, sells over 3 million issues every week. So Japanese people is consuming a lot of domestic contents. And Japanese animation is weekly, I think, 20 new episodes every week, from morning to night. And there is a big animation in the consuming industry. So actually, it's really hard to enter for example, Disney. Disney doesn't even have a show on the general TV station. So I think it's one or two. So actually, so many Japanese manga, animation, and the kind of pop culture is providing only for Japanese people. That is also other problem, because Japanese tends to be still focusing in Japan, and really hard to expand to overseas, exporting the pop cultures. So that is the reason so many Japanese users spending money for the Japanese contents.
Hi, Minori.
Yeah.
This is Henry from IGG. I'm looking forward to talk to you after the thing. One question.
Yes.
I noticed that you have very little global games that are in the top 10 of the Japanese grossing charts. And vice versa, that there's not a lot of Japanese games that would do very well in the Western market.
Yes.
So what do you say is something that the Japanese, since when they make the game, they were specifically made for the Japanese market.
Yeah.
What do you think that they can do to make something global that will work?
Okay, is this
outside Japan?
Yeah, actually, it's a really great question. Yeah, actually, think this is a personal opinion. There is many professionals here, but it is personal. So many Japanese games, as I explained, produced for Japan market. For example, the IGG, you already, before actually developing the games, you already focusing everywhere. So you know the market, you know the general use of worldwide, and from UK, US, but the Japanese people I think it's market size is way too big already. So that's why they don't design the game or make a system for adjust for each country, each region. That's why the reason. I think only a few games is a success in the Western from East to West and the South and everywhere. It's like for example, Brave Frontier, even Puzzle and Dragon. These great games, but they're not really succeed like in Japan. So only a few publisher or developers, they can win. Sometimes actually, it's monetizing game is not really winning, but as a casual games, some really big game is success in the West. For example, Brain Wars. It's totally installed 12 million downloads and 95% of users from overseas. So there is a new example. It's happening. Not like paying games, the casual games with combined with advertising monetized. So it's slowly happening.
So I heard that only a couple of games dominate 70% of the revenue of the Japanese market.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking in a new product for the Japanese market, how do you get ready to try to fight these big guys, or how do you try to plan your game for that?
So actually I explained top 10 or top 20. But when you look at top 300, top 400, I think it's top 200 is not really great success. But it's actually market size is pretty big. And in Japan, it's only Google Play and App Store, only 2 markets. There is no many big third-party markets. So kind of, for marketing-wise, easy to consider about the marketing. And first of all, actually, I'm doing it right now. I'm helping some Russian publishers to redesign the whole characters. Like I got orders about 30 characters changing and discussing with the local graphic designers. So I said icon and characters, and if character is kind of 3D facing, things should change to 2D touch. I know it's 2D is kind of old, but it's an effect and fascinate Japanese users. So it's not really the way to win if you do this and you do that, and you definitely win. But I recommend is a concert about the culture, concert about the characters, and discuss with local people, and that is so important. For example, it's big player, but the King.com, Supercell, those big players has own office in Tokyo. They knew they have to act like a local. So some Chinese developer publisher, they come to Tokyo and open only 2 or 3 guys for one office, but they communicate with users and they communicate to medias. So they do local things. I think US is same. US American people tend to be only America. So America's a huge market and it's kind of global, but if you really wants to focus American market, I think you should promote like American way, using TV commercial or using local networks, media, or hooking up a game guys in US. I think it's everywhere, like China as well. So it's not really straight answer, but that is I think we should do. We can do together.
Okay, thank you, Minoru-san. Japan is a fascinating place, and I think his presentation just proves it. So everyone, please give him a big round of applause.